Welcome to Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slark's Automotive Services.
Well, folks, we opened the season with 708 accredited institutions playing high school football in the state of Ohio. 336 remain. We've got 12 teams in 28 different regions competing for 7 state championships. I'm Ethan Sergeant. Eric Landrum is here as well. And welcome to Week 11 of Football Friday Kickoff. Happy Halloween out there. If you come see us in Portsmouth, if you're watching us on stream, we got a little candy for you. Eric was kind enough to go get you some, I mean, there's a great variety of candies in there. I'm looking at about 10 or 11 different brands just on the top, and that's a full bowl in there. So make sure to stop by and come say hi. We've got some candy for you, but some teams might be in for a spooky Saturday if they can't find ways to win today. Let's take you through real quick first all the matchups we've got today. We'll also bring you the buys. I know a lot of our favorite teams out there aren't in action today. They get the week off. We'll start out in region number 11 in Division 3. We've got 9 regions where teams that we cover are playing games today. So we're going to cover you basically with all the games in all 9 of those regions. So yes, you're going to hear some team names that we don't typically talk about on today's show. Some real big names in some of these regions as well. So the buys in this region are Bishop Watterson, Licking Valley, Steubenville, and Tri-Valley. That is a loaded top 4. And they're going to get a lot of winners of these games. A lot of MSL representation here. We'll start out with Independence, who did just about sneak in. They will take on Hamilton Township tonight. Athens is back on the road after that loss last week. I told y'all, Athens fans, I told y'all you'd be okay. They end up getting the 11 seed. They'll go to Buckeye Valley. We're going to talk a lot about that game later on in the program. Linden McKinley is on the road taking on Bloom Carroll. Linden McKinley in search of their first ever playoff victory. And Sheridan taking on Granville. Great matchup there between 2 powerhouses in Region 11. Let's go quick to Division 3, Region 12, then we'll have Eric kind of take a look at what we're looking at in Division 3. The buys here are also loaded. London is your 1 seed. Tippecanoe, Tip City is your 2 seed. Baden is your 3 seed. They were upset in week number 10. And Jackson manages to sneak in there and get that last bye after their win over Chillicothe this past weekend. Hillsborough also snuck in. They're searching for their first playoff win over Miami Trace tonight. Obviously, these 2 have history in the FAC. Bellbrook is taking on Archbishop Alter. That's your 6-11 matchup. Goshen is at Talawanda out in Oxford this evening. And Chillicothe is back in the postseason. They're taking on Archbishop McNichols. Long trip for those fellas and the Cavs, but they'll look to try and bounce back after that loss to Jackson last week. What are you looking at in these 2 regions, Eric?
Region 11 is absolutely loaded. I think Region 12 is a little bit more up in the air. A lot of representation from the FAC in those two regions between the 3 schools. And obviously, like you mentioned, a lot of MSL representation as well. Some really good conferences playing football late in the year. You love to see it. This is what it's all about.
It's great. It's great. It's awesome that we cover 9 different regions this year. I think with the exception of Region 20, we have teams in all the Cincinnati area regions this year, as well as the Southeast Ohio region. So lots of coverage this year, 9 different regions to discuss. Makes it for a funner show, at least in my opinion.
It does. It does. A lot of variety. A lot of expanding the views for a little while.
And we got new teams that we can talk about as well. And we're not going to do a ton of deep dives into a lot of these teams today, but as we go into the postseason, we will look a lot closer, especially at some of those top teams. I mentioned some of those in Region 12, your Badens, your Londons. London is a really, really high-powered offense. Baden's a bit more of a defensive powerhouse. Both of those schools are going to be tough to knock out of the postseason. Let's go to Division 4, where we're covering both of these regions as well. We'll start out in Region 15. Your buys in this one. New Lex were shocked by Sheridan this past weekend. That got Sheridan that home game. Or no, I don't believe Sheridan got home.
They're
They're on the road.
Almost
they almost
crept up to
snuck
the
in.
8.
They did. They got a lot of points from that win. They did take home the Perry County Super Bowl. And then I think the favorite in this region is the number 2 seed. That's Indian Valley. They're led by star running back Grady Kinsey. He is back doing what he did a whole lot last year, which is run right through people's faces. Jonathan Alder is your 3 seed. And then look at Unioto sliding up into the buys at number 4. They get the week off. They're going to be playing in the second week of the postseason for the first time in a very long time. But you know they want a whole lot more than that. They'll take on the winner of this game, Canton South versus Columbus East. East is 9-1, a great season for them again, but it's always the competition that you look at with Columbus East. Canton South playing a very competitive league as well. That's not an easy matchup in the 5-12 for the Tigers of Columbus East. Indian Creek taking on Johnstown. First time those two have ever locked horns. Then you got a good MSL and MVL face-off as Philo travel to Circleville. We saw Philo fall short last weekend. Circleville jumped up with their big win over Bloom Carroll last week. Massive win. That caused all sorts of chaos in the MSL. Heath is also on the road. They're taking on Fairfield Union. Heath also in the Licking County lead. Fairfield Union in the MSL. We're going to talk plenty about the MSL today. Obviously, we've got an MSL opponent right here. We're going to talk, obviously, we're about to get to this region, but plenty more to discuss. A couple other MSL teams we're going to talk about. Let's go quick to Region 16. We've only really got one team in this region, but we'll talk about it all. Indian Hill, Valley View, Cincinnati Hills, and Taft are your 4 buys. Taylor is taking on Powerhouse Clinton Massey as the 12-5 matchup. Bishop Fenwick is taking on Brookville. Interesting fact about Bishop Fenwick that one of my buddies dug up yesterday. Bishop Fenwick is the only team in the state of Ohio that has multiple state championship wins, but a losing record in the postseason.
Wow.
That's a fun fact. But Bishop Fenwick will look to try and maybe boost that record up with an upset win over Brookville tonight. Roger Bacon, a couple of good powerhouses in the Cincinnati area, smaller school powerhouses going head-to-head here as Roger Bacon takes on Wyoming. These two faced off in a regional quarterfinal about a decade and a half ago. And then here's the team we're looking at. Washington Courthouse makes the postseason, just miss out on a bye, but they've got a real shot to go on the road and get the upset tonight over New Richmond, who at 4-6 get a bye not a bye, a first round playoff game at home in the region. Let's jump over to Region 19, where we've got a whole lot of representation. 2 huge games and 2 also really important games in this region. The buys are also loaded with schools we know all too well about. The number 1 seed is Wheelersburg. I guess before we jump in, obviously we have to hit the caveat here. Talked about it a lot last week. It's now well known, right, that Ironton is not in the OHSAA playoffs for 2025. They have been removed as a result of some sanctions due to recruiting surrounding the program. Obviously, you saw a lot of the scenes last week. The big thing that happened with that game is they won, 55-13, I believe was the final score of that matchup.
Along those lines.
But they played some of those ineligible players in that matchup. So that matchup was not just voided, it was forfeited by Ironton, which means that Portsmouth won the game, which gave Portsmouth a boatload of those famous level 2 points. So Portsmouth, all of a sudden, we were talking about this a couple minutes before the show. You're Portsmouth's athletic director. You might have been scoreboard watching. Funnily enough, Portsmouth may not have made the postseason at all had this not happened. A lot of the things that they needed to go right didn't go their way, with Amanda getting the win that they did, Philo losing. A lot of things just didn't happen that they needed to happen. So they may have been at home this week. Instead, now here we are at Portsmouth High School at home, where we started the season all the way back in August. And they've got a shot to advance in the postseason against the good Amanda-Clearcreek squad. We're expecting an even matchup today. That's the 12-5 matchup. Your buys, again, going back. Wheelersburg is your 1. Columbus Academy is your 2 seed. Nelsonville York jumps up to 3. And Barnesville is able to slide into that 4th buy spot, with Ironton voiding what would have likely been either the 1st or 2nd seed in the region. Let's go through the other matchups in this region. We've got Union Local taking on Afrocentric. That's a good matchup up in the Columbus area. Afrocentric's got a dynamic dual threat quarterback. Zane Trace is taking on Lucasville Valley. Really good battle here in the playoffs as a 7-10 matchup. 2 8-2 schools. Valley's won the last 7 times these two have played, but plenty on the line tonight between two schools that love to run the football. And then you've got Morgan taking on Coldgrove in the 9-8 matchup, the OVC champs, able to sneak up in there and get a home playoff game for the first time since 2023. Let's go over to Division 6, Region 23. We skip Region 20 because we don't got any of our coverage area teams down in that region. But 23, we've got a couple as well, and it includes that 12-5 matchup, which we'll get to in a second. Centerburg, there's Fort Fry. They're off this week at number 2. West Jefferson and Mount Gilead, those are your top 4 seeds. Down on our Bend game of the week, this is where Reedsville Eastern are sitting at 7-3. They did have a little bit of an anxious wait on Friday night. They needed some things to go their way with Martin's Ferry, who were able to pick up the victory, but the level 2s worked out in Eastern's favor, so they are on the road. Tough matchup for them at Colonel Crawford. They're going to need to play their best game of football if they want to pull that upset off. Grandview Heights, after bouncing back from the Valley loss, they got the victory last week. They are in. They take on Toronto. This is a very good region. I think the worst record was 7 wins. You had to have 7 wins to get in this region.
Tough one.
Caldwell is in at 7-3. They're taking on Grove City Christian. Good matchup here between two very good small schools from very different areas. Caldwell down and around Fort Fry's area. Grove City Christian, obviously, in Grove City in Columbus. Ridgewood versus Newcomers Town. For those of you who are familiar with this is a big game. This is a rivalry. These two schools do not like each other. They are very familiar with each other, but they actually did not play in the regular season this year. They typically do. So that's a huge game in Region 23 as well. Let's jump down to Region 24. Tri-Village, Northeastern, Mechanicsburg, and St. Bernard are your bye holders, but a couple of big schools, one in the SOC and one in the OVC in this region. And then here's a big hitter at 6-4. Not many teams are superimposing at 6-4, but by God, Coldwater is imposing at 6-4. They are probably your favorites to win this region, even without getting the bye. Obviously, we know how difficult the MAC can be out there in that, kind of Dayton, Cincinnati-ish area. They'll take on Covington tonight. Another good school from the MAC is Anna. They'll take on Deer Park this evening. Then there's Rock Hill taking on Dayton Christian at home. I can't tell you the last time Rock Hill had a home playoff game. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Question.
So Pedro will be bouncing tonight, and then Portsmouth West will be on the road. They'll be out in Cincinnati taking on Summit Country Day. That's in Region 24. Real quick before we jump to our final 2 regions down in Division 7, what are some standouts there that we're looking at down in Divisions 5 and 6?
I mean, obviously, I think the first one that hits me, we're down here in this part of the state, is obviously Wheelersburg. I think that they're the standout in that region. We're not going to get to see what they've got in store tonight, but we'll get to see them next week. Ed Miller Stadium will be booming. I think they're the favorite to win that region despite some other chaos. In 6, I think 6 is a little more wide open. I think it's much more competitive. I think Fort Fry could do some things in that region.
Could.
So keep an eye on the cadets over there.
Yeah,
man.
Tice Beardsley is an imposing running back. He's causing some headlines across that area right now, and that's somebody that could absolutely blow a game open in Region 23. Let's go down to our last 2 regions before we hit our first break of the evening. Let's start out with Trimble taking on South Gallia this evening. Got it on a couple of stations. We'll break down that game a little bit more later on in the program. But here are your buys. Hillsdale is unbeaten. Actually, no, they did lose a game. They're at 9-1. They will be your 1 seed. Waterford is your 2 seed. Fisher Catholic is your number 3 seed. And then Sims Valley is your 4. This was an interesting little caveat. With South Gallia actually beating Sims Valley last week, Sims Valley still managed to get the bye over South Gallia as the Portsmouth squad is getting on the field. And the Amanda-Clearcreek squad also just got here as well. So we're getting ready for playoff football here at the Coliseum. The other matchups in this region, you've got the reigning regional champions in the Danville Blue Devils taking on Steubenville Central Catholic. Lucas is taking on Strasburg Franklin, and Bishop Rosecrans is taking on Conotton Valley. In Division 7, Region 28, obviously a very imposing name here at the 1 seed, and it's the Marion Local Flyers. The streak lives 76 games it's at now since they last lost any game. St. Henry, Cincy Country Day, and of course the Beaver Eastern Eagles off this week. Obviously, we've seen Eastern do anything and everything over the last couple weeks. They've won in a variety of ways, and last week they were able to cruise probably a bit more comfortably than they have the last couple weeks. Obviously, they had that barn burner against South Gallia a couple weeks ago. Let's take a look at the last couple matchups. Fort Recovery is taking on Cincinnati College Prep. You've got the Portsmouth Notre Dame Trojans just about, 5 minutes down the road from here.
Not far at all.
If that game gets wild, maybe we'll pack it up and head over there. It's a busy night.
You might be able to hear it from here.
You might. It's a busy night in Portsmouth as Cedarville will come to town to face off with the Titans. New Bremen will face off with Ansonia, and Minster will face off with Lehman Catholic. 3 out-of-state games across our radio networks today before we head to break. 103.7 WMPO has got Gilmer County taking on Wahama down in West Virginia. 94.1 WTHQ's got Point Pleasant's final matchup of the season against John Marshall. And we got a Kentucky matchup as well over on WLGC. Boyd County is taking on Lawrence County. We'll step aside for the first time today on Football Friday Kickoff. We're going to get to game previews when we come back. We're also going to hear from Portsmouth head coach Bruce Kolb a little bit later on in the program. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dan Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniowasouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slark's Automotive Services.
Welcome back to Portsmouth High School. I said this to Eric before the show. It is Halloween. Course, we're going to try and break a record for puns on the show. We're going to try and break a record for Halloween puns. I already used spooky, right? But it could be a ghastly evening out there. It could be genuinely a phenomenal evening here in Portsmouth. We just mentioned it before the break about how we've got 2 playoff games within, a half mile of each other?
Yeah.
That might be some sort of record. Might have to look into that. But obviously, we got a lot of huge games around our area. So I think we'll go through some of these big games in our region with the teams that we've been covering all season long. And I think we'll start out with the Athens Bulldogs. 97.3 WATH. Matt Frazee will take you through this one as they take on Buckeye Valley. This is a really intriguing matchup for a lot of different reasons. Number one, we'll start off, Buckeye Valley's never won a playoff game.
Wow.
We'll start out with that. The Barons have never won in the postseason. They've lost in the first round each of the last 3 years in Region 11 and Region, I believe, 10. They've moved back and forth a little bit. But they are playing great football. They won comfortably 35-3 in their final game of the season over Whitehall Yearling. They got a quarterback named Nathan Huss. That's the name to know. And then the running back to know is Malachi Ross. Ross had a couple of touchdowns last week. This is a balanced offense that they run out of the wing a lot. I was talking to some of the guys in the Athens that have been watching film, and they said, look, they're going to line up kind of similarly to what they saw this past week against Nelsonville York. Maybe not some of the athletes that the Buckeyes have along that line, but they have that ability to both run and pass the football. And Athens is going to have to be better than they were last week if they want to win this game.
Yeah, the formations will be similar, but what they're trying to do out of those formations are going to be, I would consider them to be vastly different. It's going to be much more one running back approach as the three guys out of the backfield carrying the ball, but the quarterback can definitely sling it. He's going to have some weapons that he can work with on the outside, and that's exactly what you didn't want to see if you were Athens, that had a hard time stopping. I don't want to call Nelsonville one-dimensional, but let's call it what it is here. A run-heavy offense a week ago. Now you've got a very balanced attack. You got to go on the road to do it. The Barons are playing good football. Bulldogs have it cut out for them tonight.
They do. But I do think that they have a realistic shot to win this game, and I think that starts with getting Anthony Sutton going. Anthony Sutton had about 120 yards last week, but it was a very quiet 120 yards. The Buckeyes did a great job, especially in the second half, of limiting what Sutton tries to do. They didn't let him have the big play. His long run was 27 yards, and it was that run right at the corner, right off the goal line, basically, that took them off the one. And they had a chance to go, but a great play by Walker Stone. I talked to Rusty Richards about that play. He said his heart was in his mouth. He was like, he saw him get to the second level. He's like, uh-oh. Because, again, you give Sutton that opportunity, he's going to take it a lot of time. Walker Stone makes a great play at safety, and the Buckeyes probably saved themselves 6 points. Athens will be looking to try and make that play happen tonight. And if they can get Sutton going, that's where you can see Heitland. That's where you can see that option game that we're used to seeing from the Bulldogs really get going this evening.
Yeah, it is. And for the Athens Bulldogs, you're going to have to take advantage of opportunities when you get them. And you just mentioned a great one that they had an opportunity for a week ago. Yeah, it took 6 points off the board, but 6 points and a whole lot of momentum in a game where it means a lot.
It was 0-0 at that point.
It's amplified in the playoffs. When you've got the opportunity to strike with a tied game, you've got to take advantage of it, especially in Week 11 on the road.
And we saw Athens bounce back from an NY loss last year, right? They were at home at Joe Burrow Stadium against Lyndon McKinley. They were able to win in the postseason. I think, again, Coach White does a very good job at understanding and getting his team in that week-by-week mindset. Yes, will they have mourned the loss a little bit on Saturday? Absolutely. They were welcome to. But that loss would have been washed out as soon as they saw that bracket come out and they saw, okay, we're in. The mindset instantly shifted to Buckeye Valley, right? They will be ready to go. I think that this team will be jacked up, and they will be excited to get out there on that field and kind of right the wrong a little bit that they saw last week. So we'll see if the Bulldogs can get it done. Again, you can listen to that one over on 97.3 WHCH up in Delaware this evening, taking on the Buckeye Valley Barons. Let's talk about another team that had a tough rivalry loss last week. The Chillicothe Cavaliers struggled against Jackson. The most interesting part, and I saw a lot of chatter about this, was the quarterback change for Chillicothe.
Yeah,
obviously, Tay Harris has been the quarterback for the majority of the season for them. And then in steps Andrew Hammond, who was initially the starter before the season. He comes back from, I'm not 100% sure, but he had an injury, I know, that had kept him out the majority of the year. He steps back in. Didn't maybe go to plan for Chillicothe this past week in that matchup. Again, they were just shut out. Jackson, again, did extend things a lot in the fourth quarter, made that. But again, they were much the better team all the way throughout. So it'll be interesting to see what Chillicothe does at quarterback tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, you might have thrown something in to shake up things against Jackson. You go with your guy that you felt like was the player at quarterback. But let's look at it. Fact of the matter was Tay Harris is far more effective in the games, especially on passing downs, than what we got to see a week ago. So they've got their work cut out for them. Another great defense in Archbishop McNicholas.
Really
the Rockets play tough
good
defense. We've seen them take on some familiar opponents across the region this year. And very much limit them.
So, look, Wheelersburg is a defensively minded team as well, but McNicholas held them to, 10, 13 points. They even held Ironton to just 29, which in retrospect kind of looks really good.
Right.
So, again, that's a tough defense. You know that they're going to key in on Carte Ligon, right?
Sure.
Teams know about him now. He's not a secret anymore. So I think if you're Chillicothe, you got, and I've talked about this all year long for the Cavs and for Coach Carper, and he knows this much better than I do. It's about getting those second options available, right? Carter Williams on the outside, some of those other running backs. You got to get them involved in the game. You got to make sure that, because look, if you can get those second options going, all of a sudden the hole starts filling. There's a spot between the left guard and left tackle for the shifty Ligon to slide through, right? And all he needs is one opening, and he's gone. So look for that for Chillicothe tonight. If they can get that rolling, look out, because they could absolutely pull an upset. If they could turn this into a track meet, that's what I say. They could absolutely make something happen here. Let's step aside here, hit our second break of the evening, but we're going to hear from the head coach of the Portsmouth Trojans when we return. A lot of great perspective in this interview from head coach Bruce Kolb of the Trojans. Again, this was a Portsmouth team that didn't even know if they would be playing in week 11 when they stepped off the field at the Tank last week. And now here they are back at home, and they're getting ready for a home playoff matchup against the Amanda-Clearcreek Aces. We're going to preview that, kind of look at what the Portsmouth season was as a whole as they prepare for this matchup. Had the great chance to sit down with Coach Kolb. We're going to hear that when we come back. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dane Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently. Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniowaSouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Saturday and Sunday when you see those points rolling, you're like, oh, well, you're thinking, well, we're right on the bubble. And then all of a sudden, oh, well, we're actually hosting. So I imagine that was a pretty fun turn of events for you guys. Let's talk a little bit about the development of this team throughout the season. I remember I talked to you in the preseason. You had high hopes for this roster, even though you lost some great players from that 2024 squad. And really towards the back end of OVC play, you guys found another gear, right? You scored 40 points in 4 straight games, 40 or more points in 4 straight games. And you really just found a way to really start grinding teams down. And that starts with your running back, Fernando Pojes, and obviously what you guys were able to do up front as well. Let's talk a little bit about the development that you've seen from your squad over the course of the season.
Well, to sort of start from where we had talked about earlier in the year, we had some big shoes to fill in running back Chase Highland and quarterback JT Williams, as well as on defense with those guys and Nick Copley and some others that were great supporting cast. We had 2 phenomenal defensive ends. So, going into the season, it's like, okay, we see the pieces. We know if we could get them to fit where they belong, we can end up being a pretty good squad, but we also knew there was a lot of growing pains that were going to come. We had just come off of 4 straight years, 4 straight trips to the postseason, 4 straight first-round victories. And, one of the concerns I had going into this season was, does this team understand the amount of work that goes in to have that kind of sustained success? And that success for us is relative compared to where we were, historically speaking. You know what I mean? So, we took a tough one against a really, really, really good Uniota team. And that was something I think that we were all we had never played Uniota. We didn't know what to expect. We had them on film, but, until our young men stepped out on the field and we saw, wow. And I remember when we came off that field, I told the staff in the locker room that, and I said, we won't see a team with this much team speed and this much athleticism until week 10. And we ended up being right. But, that was to start off your season 0-1 is kind of a shock to the system, and so we bounced back, won a tough matchup against West the following week, 13-12, defense stepped up big for us. Offensively, we were still trying to find our footing. What was our offense going to look like post JT Williams and Chase Highland? You know what I mean? And so week 3, we made a couple more steps forward, got a nice win against Greenup County. And so, at that point, it's like, okay, we're sitting here at 2-1. What's it going to look like? And we end up going up to Gallia, and we start off that game gangbusters. Defense gets a big stop, offense just slowly, methodically marches down the field and punches one in. But it was almost as if our kids like, oh, we've arrived. Well, someone forgot to tell Gallia that. And it ended up being a 4-quarter battle where we lost a heartbreak on a fumble as we were going in for the go-ahead score. And then it kind of went off the rails, and we ended up losing by 2 scores. And then, we came home for homecoming, had a tough Cold Grove team. And, preseason, it was kind of like, hey, who's going to win the league? Is it going to be Cold Grove? Is it going to be Portsmouth? Because we've always had some tough battles. And once again, tight ball game. We found ourselves backed up deep into our own territory off of a punt. And unfortunately, we put that ball on the ground. And next thing you know, Cold Grove's going in for the go-ahead score. And so now we're sitting here at 2-3, and I felt at that point our team was at a crossroads. And I remember looking at my senior class and, I said, guys, I think we took for granted the success we've had. I think we need to make sure that we're doing the things we need to do. We need to make sure we're still working hard in the weight room day in and day out. Practices, focused. We got to execute. We got to perform. And I said, how the rest of the season goes is going to determine to the effort that you put into practice and the attitude you approach the game. And, we've been saying these things. We know they hurt us, but it finally seemed as we went out on that field against Chesapeake, they actually listen to us. And that's what you saw, nice offensive production, for the next 4 weeks. Defense was still playing lights out, but Fernando Poches found his legs. We had some support from Jamarcus Parker. Our quarterback started getting a little more comfortable in the pocket, being able to hit those receivers on the quick screens and stuff like that. And so we really started marching forward those next 4 weeks, but some of that earlier year behavior, we've worked tirelessly to clean up a lot of those stupid penalties, a lot of those self-inflicted injuries. Started creeping our head back up a little bit, week 9 against South Point, and then last week against Ironton, we saw a little bit more. So, this week as we've prepared for Amanda, we've seen the growth out of this team physically, schematically, but, as I've reminded them every day this week coming into tonight's game, are we where we need to be mentally? Are we still hungry to get better? Are we just happy to make it to week 11? So it's been a great week of practice. We had some couple days there, with a little bit of colder than normal weather, a little bit of rain. It's been a relatively dry year for the first time, and as long as I can remember, we haven't had a Friday night rain game. You know what I mean? So it's, with all this sort of change in the weather, and we've been on fall break at school, I've been really happy with the focus we've been able to come into practice this week, and I'm really excited to see that pay off tonight against Amanda-Clearcreek.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are more than geared up and ready for this matchup. Finally, to wrap things up here, let's talk a little bit about what you're expecting from the Aces this evening. Obviously, a little bit of a travel for them up from the Mid-State League coming down to face you guys, an opponent you guys haven't seen very often. What have you seen on film from the Aces, and how will you, as the Trojans, look to try and attack them?
Well, we found ourselves, this is a team that way back when Ron Hinton coached and I played, we faced Amanda back-to-back seasons. And, last year we found ourselves reacclimating ourselves to Amanda-Clearcreek week 1 of the playoffs again. And so, one thing I remarked last year is they were a very junior-heavy squad. And you know what? Those juniors became seniors this year. So we're familiar with what they do schematically, offensive and defensively, from our time preparing for them week 1 of last year, at home. So we know that they're going to come. What I've known in that community, my time playing against them, and just the coaches I know in that area, it's going to be a tough team. They're going to be physically tough. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to get after it for 48 minutes. You can see that on film, and just anybody who knows that team knows that's what you're going to get. These are hard-working kids that you can tell spend a lot of time in the weight room, spend a lot of time, taking their craft seriously. So, with the nature of attack, number 3 is a pretty darn good running back. You know what I mean? That's something I noticed. He hits the hole hard. He keeps those legs moving. He's going to be a beast to take down. So, this week in practice, we worked a lot of making sure we wrap up, making sure we get 11 hats on the football every time, whenever they've got the ball in their hand, we're swarming to the football, making sure we're bringing them down. Defensively, they're a little bit different than this year than were last year, but we can tell, their D linemen, their linebackers are tough. They get downhill, they come hard. So once again, we need to make sure that we are trying to continually win that line of scrimmage. We feel if we can control the line of scrimmage against the Aces, that we're going to have a good night. We got to make sure that we can get our athletes the ball in space. One of the things that we did as we evolved as an offense is making sure we're not just relying on the legs of Fernando Poches. We got Jamarcus Parker to go out there and spell him a little bit because he plays a lot of defense, Poches does, but also making sure we're getting the ball to our receivers in space out there, making sure our quarterback is running his read game correctly, knowing when to give, knowing when to pull to keep that defense honest. Because I feel if we can do that, we can mix things up enough to keep them on their heels that we're going to have the best advantage to win tonight's game.
Absolutely. We're expecting a phenomenal matchup here at the Coliseum this evening. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach Callban. Good luck this evening.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
We'll be right back previewing more of the games around our area. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people, all to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank, working together, building success.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then delivers shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently. Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southernisoles.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Need that. Yeah. We're back here on Football Friday kickoff. And again, if you guys are coming to Portsmouth tonight, this jar of candy is rapidly
It could be yours, or some of it could be yours. Shawnee State, whoever here was here with Shawnee State, tried to take the whole thing,
Tried to
Sarge.
take the whole thing.
Whole
Eric,
thing. It's 4 girls.
Eric, as
4
kind
girls.
as he is, said, take as much as you want, and they almost took too much.
They almost took us for
"Oh,
everything we had down here in Portsmouth, Sarge.
They almost did jank us for everything, but we're here. We managed to salvage some of it. We've got anything you could really ask for in terms of this candy bag. What's your favorite Halloween movie?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, man, I love Hocus Pocus.
That's a good
movie.
movie.
I like the cheesy, corny stuff.
So I watched last night. I watched 2 movies. I didn't do much else. Carved some pumpkins, not very well, but I carved some pumpkins.
That's all that matters.
I watched the original Halloween.
It's a good one.
Great movie. Right, a little scary, but great movie. And then it's not a traditional Halloween movie, but it's set around Halloween. The Batman, the new one, with Matt Reeves and obviously Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
You know, it's set right around Halloween.
Yeah.
Love that movie. It was like, might as well, right?
Yeah.
So threw that one on as well. Happy Halloween once again, everybody out there. And if you're taking a break from trick or treating to come watch some football or listen to some football around the area, we greatly appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup we've got right here between Amanda and Portsmouth. Portsmouth, and look, obviously things were going weirdly, and obviously this happened because of strange circumstances. I would have backed them in a lot of circumstances heading into this week because they're playing really good football right now. They're playing their best football late in the season.
Yeah, they are. And Coach Kolb has such a great grasp of what his team is doing right now, what they've been doing all season, and hearing him in that interview exactly saying what we've been saying about his team all year, but just laying it out for him, Sarge. And that brings you here to week 11 where the phrase is trick or treat. Well, Portsmouth may have tricked their way into a home game a little bit. It's going to be a treat of a game here in just a little while. There's your Halloween pun for me, Sarge. I contributed. It's going to be a great football game. Amanda-Clearcreek has played 8 playoff teams this season.
Wow.
8 playoff teams. Portsmouth has played 4 or 5 of their own there as well. So great football. What do you want?
It is. It's a great game. And I said this. We've kind of said this all year long about this Amanda team because of the depth of competition that they've played. That don't let the 5-5 record fool you. This is a very good football team that is capable of making a deep and sustained run. They're very defensively minded. They shut down Zane Trace's offense earlier this year on the way to a 26-7 victory. And this is a team that can absolutely, if they get this defense going, they'll get that offense going in tandem. I think the big job for Amanda-Clearcreek is those linebackers are really good. I watched some tape this week. They're pacey, right? And Coach Kalb mentioned this specifically. They've got linebackers that fly to the football. They're very disciplined. They can play the run and the pass. And you've got a running back on the other side in Fernando Pojes, who is really starting to be a household name around here in Portsmouth. Got 11,000, or excuse me, not 11,000. That would be that would be earth shattering. He does have very, very, very good numbers. 1,143 yards, averaging about 6 a pop. He does have 12 touchdowns. The thing to note for him, 6 fumbles as well. So he's got to make sure to hold that football. They say there's a good phrase out there: ball security is job security, and he's got to make sure to keep 2 hands on the football, especially when he gets into that second level onto those linebackers. But that battle for me might determine who wins this game.
Yeah, it will. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see, right? A back that's the unstoppable force, and the defense that is the immovable object, so to speak. You hinted on something that's big, though, and I think will be key. The turnover battle, man.
Yeah.
Portsmouth's got to hang on to the football. They can't make their own mistakes if they want to win this football game tonight. It's a stingy defense. They are disciplined, and they do those little things when you're stood up, pull the ball out. They do all of those things well. They do all those things well. So Portsmouth in the run game's got the work cut out for them. But Fernando Pojes, like you said, household name. He is the guy down here. And if you are in that Aces locker room, I can promise you, they're saying, stop this young man.
Man, they're probably looking at him. I remember last year around Halloween time, I remember Ashton Genty was tearing up the college football scene, and there were plenty of edits out there with him and Michael Myers. I'm sure another great Halloween movie as well. And I'm sure the guys in that Clear locker room, which is, I believe, over on the opposite side, either in front of us.
I believe it's in the Clark Athletic Complex.
Or I think you're right. I think it's all the way back there. We've seen them go back and forth a couple times. They're wearing the white away jerseys today. We're going to have Portsmouth in the classic blue and red this evening. I really think this is going to come down to the turnovers. A name to know on the opposite side for Portsmouth is Leland Sturlock. 3 picks, including a pick 6 on the year. So keep an eye on him, maybe to make one of those splash defensive plays. Boston Fowler's the quarterback for Amanda. He's good with his legs and with his arm, as a lot of quarterbacks around here are, as is Marquez Locklear on the other side for Portsmouth. Locklear is a guy that Coach Kalb has spoken so highly about how well he's developed over the course of the season, especially in terms of decision-making. This is a guy who kind of came in cold-footed off the jump, right? They knew he was going to play, but they didn't really know what kind of style they were going to get out of him. And yeah, he made some mistakes early in the year. A lot of quarterbacks do, but he's very capable with his legs as well. He's got over 100 attempts on the ground. He's got right around 800, 700 yards from scrimmage. He's got about 600 through the air, 700 through pass, about 1,300 total yards. So they're getting a lot out of him. And then Trevin Brooks at linebacker as well for Portsmouth, a guy that just flies around. He's got 88 tackles on the year. Let's stay in this region because we got another big game not too far down the road from here. If you were coming from where I was in Athens, or you in Jackson, you would have passed right by this matchup in Lucasville, where it is Valley hosting Zane Trace. Battle of 8-2 squads. The big thing for me in this game is this may be the first game to finish tonight, because there is going to be a lot of running of the football. There's going to be a lot of good defense. And again, we don't do gambling, we don't do betting, but if there was an over-under in this game, it's the under by a landslide, because these two defenses know how to play.
They're stingy on the defensive side of the ball. They're both very disciplined in the run game and how they approach that. And I think that that's great, because we're going to get to see two good run games, take on good run defenses here. Obviously, Bryce Johnson does some really good things. He's got a nice compliment to him in the backfield, though, and Gunnar McCullough as well. And I think Gunnar McCullough, we're talking about the run game, he's going to have to make some plays with his arm at some point. Maybe it could be
still kind of searching for it.
You know, it could be play action, 3rd and short, dip it off into the flats or something. But at some point, you're going to have to take a little bit of pressure off of Bryce Johnson in this offense. And if you're Valley, don't allow the big play and don't break in the red zone. If you can do those two things, I think you'll be okay. Those are the two key things.
Got to get Anthony Aaron going in that backfield, try and get that running game established. Like I said, kind of the keys to this game were kind of similar for both of these teams, because they attack games very similarly. see how they go and stack up against each other. Again, Valley's won the last 7 meetings between these two squads, but they actually haven't played since 1998. So we'll see how they clash in 2025. It's been a while since these two have locked horns. Again, the other 2 games in this region, Union Local versus Afrocentric. Morgan taking on Colgrove. Couple of interesting matchups there. Again, before we get into a couple other previews, I have an intriguing question here. Of the teams that play, so obviously we've got a lot of our best teams in Wheelerburg and Nelsonville, York, in this region specifically, and plenty of other good ones across these regions. And this could be from any region. What team do you feel like that plays tonight, that doesn't have a bye, has the best shot to go on and win their respective region?
Oh, that's a really, really good question here. Let me take it
was a little bit of a cold one.
Yeah,
I'll let you take a look.
That's okay. Let me take a quick look at this. 519. I'll tell you what. I think 6 is wide open, and Colonel Crawford plays lights out football. I think the number 5 seed, Colonel Crawford, who's 9-1 right now, could make some serious noise in that region. I'll actually go with Colonel Crawford. I like what
Colonel
they're
Crawford.
doing.
Yep.
And Division 6 is wide open, as we've said.
It is. Division 6 and 7, I think, are both wide open. I'm going to go, and this is a little bit of an interesting one. I'm not 100%. I will say, I'm not crazy confident in this, and this could all crash down next week. But if Trace can get by Jackson next week, and if they can shake that specific monkey off of their back, I feel like that will lift a weight off of that program's shoulders.
Interesting.
And even though it wouldn't get them an FAC crown, it would give them that momentum that you so desperately need. And they have the bodies that we know they have the bodies to compete with some of the best teams in that region. They would have to probably play London the next week, and I think they have it. They would have a shot in that game. I'm not going to say that's probably my besides Colonel Crawford, who I also like, I think that's probably my second best shot. Again, a lot of the best teams in our area aren't playing this week.
That's correct.
And
that's
they've
very
got
correct.
a lot of great opportunities to play next week. We'll see who they all shake out and play against after the dust settles this evening. Let's go jump down to regions 23 and 24. Let's talk about Colonel Crawford a little bit. They're taking on Eastern. This one's over on 92.1 WYVK. The big thing for Eastern today is you cannot allow this game to get away from you early. It's cost them against some of the big teams in some of their earlier matchups this season. You have to stick with things early. You have to roll with that run game that we know they could get going, but you can't blink if you take the first punch.
Yeah, and honestly, not only can you not get behind, but you've got to play pretty much perfect football. Yeah, I mean, you just do. Right now, Colonel Crawford's coming into this game, as we mentioned, 9-1. They've got an interesting system with both quarterbacks. They got 2 quarterbacks that have both thrown for around 800 yards on the year, and both very efficient, around 55 to 60% respectively. Peyton Barker, Braden Holt. Connor McMichael, though, on the ground, has also run for almost 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns himself. That's a tall task. Eastern's big and physical up front. They can use that to their advantage at times. That's a tall task on the road. 3.5-hour bus trip.
It is a long
3.5-hour bus trip
Region
from
23 and 27 are where you get some wild ones. And again, I mean, you look at some of the other teams of this region as well. I believe Centerburg is the only unbeaten in this region at 10-0. Or they might have lost. I'm not sure. But the other 3 teams are either 8-1 in Fort Fry's case, or the other 2, West Jeff and Mount Gilead, are both 9-1. So there is not a lot of room for mistakes in this region. Quickly in Region 24, Portsmouth West taking on Summit Country today. I think the Senators have a real shot to go on the road and get something here against Summit Country. Again, 2 5-5 teams going head-to-head in Week 1 of the postseason.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think that they've got a real shot to go on the road and do that, but they've got to do exactly that. Go on the road and do that. First of all, they're going to have to stop the run. And defensively for the Silver Knights, I believe they are. That's a physical and fast, and I mean fast defense. And we've seen the Senators really struggle with that. So, again, hoping for the Senators, but that's a tall task on the road.
It is. It's tough on the road. Again, a long road trip. Again, you got to get Bishop going early. You got to get him going often, and that'll open up the pass game because we know that they have that in their back
Brody
pocket.
Hall's capable.
Brody Hall's very, very capable. He's also capable with his legs. I think if you can get the quarterback run going a little bit tonight as well, that could also play a big factor for the Senators as they go on the road taking on Summit Country Day. The other matchups in this region: Covington taking on Coldwater, Deer Park taking on Anna, Dayton Christian taking on Rock Hill. We'll see how the Redmen end up doing as well against Dayton Christian. Your buys, Tri-Village, Northeastern, Mechanicsburg, and St. Bernard. We're going to step aside once again here one last time in the 5 o'clock hour, but don't worry, we got another half hour left, which you hear on Football Friday Kickoff. The Trojans just about getting ready to get set and start warming up. There's Marquez Locklear going right by us here on the Football Friday Kickoff desk. He's getting ready to go and gear up against the Amanda-Clearcreek Aces. We'll get our last couple previews. We'll get started with our game picks when we come back. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
At Slarks Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton F.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently. Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniosouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
HSAA playoffs. Players are on the field getting ready right behind us here. The Portsmouth Trojans right next to us on the far side are the Aces of Amanda-Clearcreek from the MSL. The OVC getting represented here by the Trojans. Plenty of great matchups across the state this evening. Let's talk a little bit about some of the smaller regions that we haven't got to just yet. We'll start out with the Trimble Tomcats on the road. It might well be Phil Ferris' last high school football game if they were to fall short this evening against South Gallia, who, again, we know 13-0, have a high-flying offense. They average 47.1 points per game, and this offense is so dynamic. They can do it in a lot of different ways. You saw how many points they were able to put up on Eastern despite the fact that it was in a losing effort.
Yeah, it was a losing effort, but albeit a good Eastern Eagles defense, and it showed the Rebels what they were capable of, and it probably showed the Trimble Tomcats what that offense is capable of. Listen, Phil Fairs is a legend. He's different in the playoffs, and his team is probably going to be playing for him harder tonight than any other team in his career, or at least as hard anyway. So they got a tall task going on the road against the South Gallia Rebels that want a playoff winning. Listen, Trimble's earned the reputation in Division 7. People like to beat Trimble as well, having that reputation earned. So I know they're licking their chops down in the Crown City or Mercerville or wherever they're playing this one tonight. This is going to be a great football game.
Well, the interesting caveat about this game is Trimble has never lost to South Gallia. They played 13 times, as South Gallia used to be in the TVC Hawking before they left for the SOC about a year and a half ago. Trimble's 13-0 all time against the Rebels. The last meeting was in 2022. That was a 56-14 win in a year that Trimble didn't have a particularly good season.
Yeah.
So it's a history definitely favors the Tomcats
on their
this
side.
one, but South Gallia with that high-flying offense. A couple of Wright brothers. You want to talk about flight. We talked about it with Westfall in the past, but a couple other Wright brothers here do some damage for South Gallia. Hunter Wright is at quarterback for them. Physical. Very physical football player.
Kid.
And then his brother Lane Wright is also a guy. He'll line up a little bit more in the backfield. He'll cause some issues as well for defenses. And again, this is a Tomcat team. This was a crazy thing. They don't, again, small numbers. Half of the 26 kids, 13 of them are freshmen. 13 of them. And Coach Ferris mentioned this to me when I talked to him on the Athens County Coach Show. He said, look, a lot of these kids have to act like sophomores and juniors now. You've played a whole season. You got to be able to almost man up and lock into that matchup and that mindset in the postseason, because you have to have that different mindset when you get into these late season matchups. So we'll see how the Tomcats fare, again, in a difficult situation on the road as the 12 seed taking on South Gallia. Let's go quickly down to Region 28 to talk about the matchup that's going to be just down the road from here. It is Cedarville taking on Portsmouth Notre Dame. We've seen this the Trojans are right here. The Titans will be over there at Spartan Stadium, just again, half a mile from here. I'm gonna look it up here in a sec.
We'll have to map it.
The interesting thing about what I see out of this Notre Dame squad, and they've been, I know they've had their ups and downs. They fell to Sims Valley, they beat Sims Valley, but they fell to South Gallia. What can they do to be a little bit more effective against some of these tougher defenses that they've faced?
I think for the effectiveness of the team in key situations, they're just not coming through, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. This is a Titans team that gives up far too many points to be as effective as they are on the offensive end. It seems like every night they put up 30, they give up 40 when they lose. You know what I mean? Or if they give up 40, they give up, or if they score 40, they give up 50. So they got to make the stops. They've got to, third down, fourth down, red zone, goal line, they got to make the key stops, whatever they present themselves to be, and that will keep your offense in the position that they need to be in to win games.
0.8 miles.
Okay, half a mile.
Not far, not very far at all.
Well,
how will they use Ethan Kingery tonight, do you think? Obviously, he's been in and out, right? He's been dealing with that injury. He came back, played a little bit against Eastern. I'm not sure how much he's played over the last couple of weeks, but he's, one of the best athletes, if not the best athlete on that team. He's crucial for what you're trying to do on both sides of the ball. What's his usual look like this evening?
I think it's business as usual. Obviously, you reintroduced Kingery late into the season, so obviously you've gotten a bunch of looks. You've gotten to see what his most effective traits are. I really like Kingery as a lead blocker.
Yeah.
I think he's a very physical, hard-nosed kid. I think Cassidy at the quarterback position has been doing a good job, good enough to lead this team to basically a 10-0 season. Let Kingery lead the way in the run game. He can carry the football too, but he'll dictate where things are going in the run game, just his presence. That's where I like to see that big body at.
Absolutely. You got to get him on the field in some capacity.
Yeah.
I think he's
a
too
huge kid.
Too important, too big.
Defensively,
he's
lights out.
He's amazing off the edge as well. Really good player for the Titans. Let's get into our game picks, but first I'll recap what we saw through the picks in 2025. Last year went 239 and 75 in the regular season for a 76.1 clip. This year we improved by 4%. So we're up to 249 correct, 61 incorrect. That's an 80.3 percentage. Not
80%
too bad.
the goal.
80% is very good. That gets you a B. Obviously, we're looking for A's, but that gets you a solid B, and we'll take that on the grading department. Let's see if we can improve it here in the postseason. We'll pick all the these games in all 9 of these regions that we're keeping our eye on. We'll start out in region number 11. Again, your byes, Waterson, Valley, Steubenville, and Tri-Valley. And we'll start out in Hamilton, where the Hamilton Township Rangers are facing off with Independence this evening.
Yeah, Independence has a nice kid at quarterback, Gabriel Agbara. He's done some really lights out things, but I think Hamilton Township, just defensively, they've done. I mean, just defensively alone, they'll be fine. This is actually a Week 3 rematch.
It is.
That saw Hamilton Township win 46-6. They didn't give up points to Javon McBride or not. Give me the Township
I was
Rangers.
going to say, Javon McBride is out for Hamilton Township, which is a tough loss, but I think they've got enough, especially with Cal-El. You talk about it being Halloween. I think Superman is going to be in town for Hamilton tonight. I think Cal-El will get things done for, was it Cal-El Bishop? Buckley? Beverly. I knew it was a B. I just didn't know. Kal-El Beverly, he's a great football player. I think they'll be able to lean on him. I think they're going to lean on him for a lot of this postseason run. So let me take the Rangers. It's the Bulldogs and the Barons. Buckeye Valley searching for their first ever postseason win. Athens looking for their second in as many years.
Yeah, and Athens, man, we mentioned earlier, when you got opportunities, you're going to have to make the best of them. For the Barons, though, I expect them to get an early lead. That'll make things a little bit difficult on Athens. I think the Barons will win this football game.
Yeah, I'm going with Buckeye Valley as well. I just think that they're going to be able to be a bit more effective than I think. I think they'll be able to use they'll play to their strengths tonight.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be where they get the win tonight. And again, if they get that big lead, or if they get a lead early, Athens going to have to come out of that shell a little bit. We'll see how that affects them. Lyndon McKinley taking on Bloom Carroll.
I think this will be a really good football game. Lyndon McKinley has a stud sophomore quarterback, but I think Bloom Carroll, they'll use their veterans to make him uncomfortable. I'll roll with the Bulldogs at home in this one.
I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I think that does favor the Bulldogs. I'm going with Bloom Carroll as well. We'll go to the I think the most mouth-watering matchup in this region.
Tasty,
Sheridan and Granville out at the home of the Blue Aces. Sheridan, the Generals, what a win they got last week over New Lexington to spoil the unbeaten season and take home the Perry County Super Bowl. You have to think that gives them a ton of momentum as they head into the postseason and take on a Granville squad that has had a little bit of interesting stuff happen at quarterback over the course of the season.
Not only momentum, but a whole lot of confidence as well. And I'm actually going to go with the home team led by Heath Hint and the Blue Aces. I think this is his time of year. Week 11, they're at home. A little bit less consistency. You mentioned the problems at the quarterback spot, but I'll take the Blue Aces at home.
I can't go against my guy, Paul Culver III. He just is somebody who always finds ways to win.
He's crafty.
And especially on the road. On the road, he's got a trick or 2 or 5 up his sleeve on Halloween night.
Maybe
I think
Aces,
Sheridan.
huh?
I think Sheridan gets it done. Give me the Generals. Let's go to Division III, Region 12. London, Tip City, Baden, and Jackson are off this week. Some intriguing matchups in this region as well. We'll start off with an FAC rematch. Miami Trace taking on Hillsborough.
Yeah, Miami Trace did what they needed to do in the regular season in this one. I don't have any problem to think otherwise. I'm going to go with the Panthers at home.
I'm thinking Baker 150+ this evening. I think Trace gets it done to set up a huge one.
I could see it.
Huge one next week. Bellbrook taking on Archbishop Alter.
Yeah, I actually like Bellbrook in this football game. I think that they can go on the road and do it.
That's an interesting match or upset pick. I like that.
like
I've got a few upsets, don't worry, but I don't think this is the one here. I think Archbishop Alter is going to be able to get it done. Interesting one here. Goshen taking on Talawanda out in Oxford this evening.
Give me Talawanda in this football game. I like the Braves.
The Brave.
Yeah.
The Brave.
The
It's
Brave.
interesting.
Just
It's not
one
the Braves.
Just
it's
one
the Brave.
Yes.
Like the tribe,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
But I think they'll be able to get it done as well. Again, they're 9-1 on the year. They found ways to win games consistently. That's always a mark of a good team that can maybe make a run in the postseason. Then, of course, over on C103.7, Chillicothe is taking on Archbishop McNichols. Can the Cavs bounce back and win their first playoff game since it's been a minute?
It's been a while for Cavaliers fans, but it's not the matchup that you need, especially kind of a question mark at the quarterback spot. I'm not real sure what's going on there heading into Week 11. I don't like that. I do like the Rockets and the way they play defense, so they're stingy. Give me the Rockets.
Yeah, I think when you look at how this matchup shakes out, I just don't think it stacks well for Chillicothe. I think that's the big thing. Chillicothe hasn't won a playoff game since 2008. There's the last time. 2008, the last time the Cavs won a playoff game. Are they making steps in the right direction?
In high school. That was led by Caleb Knights and the crew.
Oof,
They are going the right direction.
I think I was in maybe first grade. I was young. We were on the way up. We weren't quite in the superstar category just yet. We were on our way up.
It all led us to here, Sarge.
It absolutely did. I think the Cavs are absolutely. I think this year is 100,000% been a success for them. No matter what happens over the next couple of weeks, even despite what happened last week, they are making steps. You got Carte Ligon in that program for 2 more years, and that's a mouth-watering prospect. But I think that this was always a come-up year, and while it's still a success, I just don't think tonight's the night. I think that McNichols gets it done. Let's step aside before we get into Region 4 and hit a quick break. We'll come back and break down some more matchups in and around the postseason in Southeast Ohio. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dan Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniosouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Start out in region number 15, where New Lex, Indian Valley, Jonathan Alden, and Uniota are catching a break after getting the byes. We'll start out with Canton South on the road to Columbus East.
Yeah, I think Columbus East is going to have it in the bag in this one. I think not much more to say. They're 9-1 playing at home is what you look forward to.
Here's my first upset. I told you I had some good ones. Canton
it?
South beats Columbus East on the road. I think they get it done. Johnstown taking on Indian Creek.
I'll go with Indian Creek, another 9-1 season. This is what you play your entire season for, Sarge. No upsets at home.
This is another one that I thought about heavily, but I got Indian Creek in this one. It's going to be a tight game, though. This is another game I think that's going to be super tight. Philo taking on Circleville, two good teams up in the lower region, Columbus 740 area.
Yeah, this will be a really good football game. I'm actually going to go with Circleville. I love the momentum heading into this week. You beat Bloom Carroll last week. That was your conference champion. Give me the Tigers.
Yep, I'm rolling with Kirkleville with you as well. I love that momentum factor, getting that big win over Bloom Carroll. Holds a lot of weight. Speaking of the Mid-State League, Fairfield Union is in action at home. They're taking on the Heath Bulldogs.
Yeah, Heath's picked up a few nice wins over the year, but I think Fairfield Union's defense is going to be the difference in this game. They've been competitive even in their losses. Give me the Fairfield Union Falcons at home.
Heath's won the last 3 times these guys have played. They haven't played since 2021, but I think Heath gets it done this evening on the road. I like the Bulldogs to maybe make a run. I'm just going to say that quietly.
Ooh.
I like the Bulldogs to maybe make a run. Let's go to Region 16. We'll speed through this region. Indian Hill, Valley View, Cincinnati Hills, and Taft have the byes. Taylor taking on Clinton Massey. This is the easiest pick of the night.
Clinton Massey until the cows come home tonight.
Absolutely. That Massey squad is their only loss is to Tri-Valley up in Region 11. Bishop Fenwick taking on Brookville.
I actually like what you had to say about Bishop Fenwick earlier, but I'm going against history tonight. I'll take Brookville.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for them. I really like what Brookville's put together this year. They're 9-1 on the season. Roger Bacon taking on Wyoming, 2 of the perennial powerhouses in Region 16 throughout the years.
They are, and it's weird to see their names with a 7 and a 10 beside them because they're usually much higher up. But I actually like Wyoming in this football game as well.
I like Wyoming. Again, they had that long regular season win streak a couple years ago. Last time these two faced off was in 2010. They were both up a region in Region 12.
Yep.
That night it was Roger Bacon. This night it is Wyoming. I will take them to take this one down. Then we got Courthouse taking on New Richmond. They'll be on the road tonight.
I like what Washington Courthouse does in the air. Pfeiffer's throwing for 2,600 yards on the year. That's as good as any kid in southeastern Ohio, as my numbers show. Give me the Blue Lines at home. I like what I'm seeing.
I like the Blue Lines. They're going on the road, unfortunately for them.
Sorry, I got
but
my
I do.
numbers
But
backwards.
the crazy thing is they have a better record, even though they're going on the road.
Yeah.
I think the Courthouse can get the job done tonight. I think Osborne has a big night on the outside as well at receiver. I've got Courthouse this evening, going on the road, getting an upset in that region. Let's go to Region 19. Wheelersburg, Columbus Academy, Nelsonville, York, and Barnesville are off this week. We'll save this matchup because we've got to pick it at the end, of course.
Let's do.
But a very intriguing matchup here between Union Local and Afrocentric is what we'll start with next. The Nubians facing off with the Jets.
The Nubians are just explosive on offense. They do things so well. They're tough. They got nice balance. They play good defense. I'll go with the Nubians at home.
This might be the closest game of the night, in my opinion, maybe besides this one right here. Union Local, if they control the ball for more than, I think, about 5/8 of the clock, they will win this game. But Afrocentric's got that big play explosive factor. I think that's the difference. They get a couple of those that Union Local don't.
Yeah.
They win this game. Over on 100.9 WXIZ and 95.7 WNXT, we got Zane Trace taking on Valley. Big game.
I think Valley makes the plays through the air that they need to, and that's the difference in this football game. Both teams run the ball well. I'll take the Indians at home.
I'm going to go with Zane Trace in this one because I think that they control the clock. I think that they just don't even if Valley does unlock a couple of those big plays, I've got the Pioneers being able to work the clock, win a low-scoring grind of a football game. Give me Zane Trace on the road. Morgan taking on Colgrove.
This is going to be a phenomenal football game. Another game that's not too far from here, Sarge. Just right down the road. The Murphy-Turner connection in the backfield for Colgrove is real. I'm going to actually take the Hornets at home.
Yep, I'm going with Colgrove as well. That's another team that they're playing great football at the best time. So I like what I see out of the Hornets. Let's go to Region 23. Centerburg, Fort Fry, West Jeff, Mount Gilead are off. We'll start off with Reedsville Eastern looking to pull an upset on the road, taking on Colonel Crawford.
An upset it would be. I like Colonel Crawford in this football game. They're playing really good football.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are not going to be able to get it done on the road. Really tough draw for them, really. Playing a great school in Colonel Crawford. They have a chance, but they're going to need to play a perfect game. I got Colonel Crawford taking it in this one. Toronto taking on Grandview Heights.
I think Grandview Heights could make some noise in this football game, but they haven't shown me what they need to in matchups where they're super tested. I'll take Toronto at home.
You got Owensberger, who's committed to Indiana for Coach Signetti out there, who's playing for Grandview Heights tonight. Actually committed as an ATH, so he could play running back. I think that he'll play linebacker at the next level. He is that elite player that can change a game on a dime, but I think Toronto's got more of a team around him, so I will take Toronto this evening. Caldwell taking on Grove City Christian. Couple of conference, I don't know how Caldwell did, but I do know Grove City Christian won the MSL Small region.
Yeah, this is the time of year Caldwell's usually looking forward to. The Redskins usually play great football this time of year, but you mentioned that Grove City, their conference champions, coming off of a lot of momentum that matters at home in Week 11. I'll go with Grove City Christian.
I'm going with Caldwell because you look at the matchups that they've played. They have played just a murderer's row, really, of some really good teams. They played Waterford. They've played Fort Fry. Those were 2 of their 3 losses on the year. So, again, I think that Caldwell, you said it, they play their best football in November and December. So I think that Caldwell is going to be able to to get it done tonight. Then you've got a great rivalry matchup between Ridgewood and Newcomerstown to round out this region. These two teams very familiar with each other. Just last year, 34-13, Ridgewood took down Newcomerstown in the regional quarterfinals last season.
I actually like history to repeat itself in this one. I'll take Ridgewood on the road against the rival tonight, Sarge.
Yeah, the Ridgewood's won the last 7. It's going to be the last 8 tonight. I think Ridgewood gets it done. Let's go to Region 24 real quick. Covington taking on Coldwater.
In this game, I actually like Coldwater. I mean, there's no reason to think so.
Another layup of a pick.
Yeah, here you go.
I think a back-to-back here. I'll take Coldwater, and I'll take Anna over Deer Park.
Yeah, there you go, too. I mean, Anna's not going to lose tonight.
Then we got our two teams we're paying attention to in this region. We got Rock Hill taking on Dayton Christian.
Yeah, I actually like the Warriors at home or on the road at Rock Hill. Rock Hill hasn't showed me what they need to in contests where it's tight ball game, man. I like the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm going with Dayton Christian as well. Rock Hills, just the last couple of weeks have been a struggle after the highs that they had early in the year. I'm going with the Warriors as well at Dayton Christian. Then you got Portsmouth West on the road as well, taking on Summit Country Day.
Yeah, another long trip for the Senators. And I think that defense for Country Day is the key. They play lights out. They're fast. They're physical. Give me the Silver Knights.
I do have Portsmouth West winning this game. I think the Senators can find a way to get it done. It's going to be behind that run game. If they get Bishop going, they get Hall going. Yeah. I think that they'll find a way to win this one on the road. Let's go to Region 27. Hillsdale, Waterford, Fisher Catholic, Sims Valley all off. You got Trimble taking on South Gallia.
I think this is the first time South Gallia gets a win over Trimble. Give me South Gallia at home.
Me too. It pains me, but me too.
Yeah.
I think South Gallia gets it done. Danville taking on Steubenville Central Catholic.
I'm actually going to go with Danville. I know it's a little bit of an upset, but this is perennially a region they're very involved in.
Danville's a little down this year. The talent isn't quite where it was last year for their regional championship, but they're still a really good football team. They're going to find a way to win. They could very well go on a run. They were another team I thought about when we did that segment earlier in terms of making a run early in the postseason. So I'll take them tonight. I'll also take Lucas over Strasburg Franklin.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Strasburg Franklin's improved, but they haven't got over the playoff hump yet. Give me Lucas.
Yep. And finally, Bishop Rosecrans taking on Conotton Valley.
Conotton Valley until it's over, man. I mean, I think that's the play. Give me the Rockets.
Yep, I'm going with the Rockets as well. Final region before we get to our last pick after the final break. Fort Recovery taking on Cincy College Prep in Region 28.
I think Fort Recovery gets it done over College Prep. That's my 12-5, Sarge.
There is a 12-5, and I'm joining you on that. That's a College Prep team that really hasn't played a difficult schedule. Fort Recovery might be the best team they've played all year. Cedarville taking on Portsmouth Notre Dame just down the road here at Spartan Stadium.
Yeah, I'll actually go with Cedarville in this contest. Their defense is going to be the key. I like Portsmouth Notre Dame, but not enough.
I think this is going to be a grind of a football game, but I think Portsmouth Notre Dame has a real shot to get this one done at home. I think that they'll be able to do it. New Bremen is on the road taking on Ansonia. These two played just a couple years ago in the postseason, and it was a New Bremen 5-1 upset over Ansonia in the regional semis in 2022.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with New Bremen again on the road tonight.
Yeah, I think Ansonia is going to be about sick and tired of them after tonight. I think they'll be able to get it done. Final matchup, Minster taking on Lehman Catholic.
I will take Minster, and I will roll with the MAC in the postseason.
It's
so
tough, very tough to pick against the MAC in the postseason, one of the toughest conferences, I would argue, in the entire state.
Absolutely.
We'll step aside one final time here on Football Friday Kickoff. We'll have our final game pick of this matchup.
More, baby.
Portsmouth versus Amanda-Clearcreek next. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southernisoles.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Collision Center.
Well, Eric, here we are. Final pick of the afternoon/evening. It is Halloween night, and will it be a trick or treat for the Trojans this evening?
Oh, man, I hate to say it at home, man. It's a beautiful place to be, but unfortunately, I think that this is a trick for the Trojans. The trick being the 5-5 Amanda-Clearcreek Aces. They're going to roll in here and get it done. 2 tested. They played 8 playoff teams. They beat 3 of them. I'll roll with the Aces.
You know, a trick up the sleeve for the Aces potentially. I'm actually rolling with the home squad. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Portsmouth so far, especially through OVC play. Ironton is Ironton, right? You're going to take your lumps. They actually hung in that game for a long stretch of it before letting it get away from them in the second half. I'm taking Portsmouth this evening. I think they'll get it done. Make sure to enjoy all of the action tonight. We will be back for Football Friday kickoff next week at a spot to be determined. But Eric will be with you on Football Friday night tonight. We'll have plenty more content. Make sure to tune in over on our Facebook. I'll be live all night long, bringing you content there. Enjoy your Football Friday nights, everybody. Happy Halloween.
This has been Football